Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the International GT Open. We're getting set to get underway for qualifying 2 here at the Temple of Speed, Autodromo Nacional di Monza, the location for our grand finale ahead to decide the fate of the International GT Open Championship. 100 points to remember stands between Christopher Haase, Simon Riker, and of course Alessio Deleda. The question is, will it be either of those? It could yet be somebody else as well. Who knows? We have got quite the championship fight under our belt, and the session will be declared a wet session here in Italy. And whilst obviously we're waiting for the cars to make their way out, they're all queuing at the end of the pit lane at this moment in time. It was Fabian Schiller who posted the fastest time in Q1 with a 1:44.652, just slightly faster than Lucas Dunner, who qualified second fastest in the opening session, 1:44.671. Of course, both cars need to qualify. We then work out the average time. The fastest average time will stand on pole position, but we'll wait and see who can obtain that. Obviously, we're expecting differing conditions from what we saw first thing this morning. The spectators, though, despite that, still amassing in the grandstands. George Morgan here in the commentary box alongside me, Chris Stevens. This is going to be one thrilling session, Chris.
It is. That gets underway now, and the cars flurry out there on presumably wet Michelin tyres, because we have had a rain shower since Q1 this morning. So it will be different conditions out there, and this is where the majority of the teams are putting their quick drivers in for this session. It was Fabian Schiller and Lucas Dunner who sort of went against the grain a little bit in Q1, the top two from this morning's session. But here in this one we have Carol Bash, we have the works drivers out, Philip Ellis and Christopher Haase and Jordan Pepper as well. Vincent Abril is out there as well. Rubens Barrichello in the El Baron Rampante Lamborghini as well, that Giuseppe Cipriani qualified this morning. There is Barrichello joining for this weekend. Of course, Cipriani normally rides solo in that Lamborghini, but because this is the endurance race, you have to have a teammate, and Barrichello rejoining the squad he raced for in Formula 3000 back in the 90s, which is Cipriani's squad. But since leaving Formula 1 at the end of the 2011 season, Barrichello, he did a year of IndyCar in 2012, but largely has been occupying himself in Stock Car Brazil, or recently renamed Stock Car Pro Series. 2 times a champion there, but in terms of GT3 racing, really is limited on that experience. He did the Spa 24 Hours in 2018 in the Straka Mercedes, did a round of Italian GT in a Ferrari in Vallelunga in 2020, and that's about it. That's all I could find. Yeah, really, for his specifically GT3 experience.
Yeah, very little, it has to be said, but aligning himself with Giuseppe Cipriani, with a team that, like you so rightly say, contested in Formula F3000 back in the early 90s, and whilst obviously he contested there, he finished pretty well in that championship. It has to be said, it was also combined with Andrea Montemini, a GT Open legend, who of course has featured here and won championships here in the International GT Open in the past. But fantastic to have Rubens Barrichello, who has a phenomenal record at this Monza circuit as well. Raced in 19 Italian Grand Prix, with his first win back in 2002 with Ferrari, and F1 wins, amassing obviously the first one in 2002, and then followed that up with a pole to victory in 2004, and then took his third in 2009 with Brawn GP. 5 podiums in total in Formula 1 machinery at Monza through the course of his career, and holds the lap record around this track of a 1:21.046, set back in 2004 with the Ferrari team. So a lot of heritage as far as Rubens Barrichello is concerned here at Monza, and he's just witnessed his son as well contesting, and his son Fernando gave a grand account of himself during the course of the race. Was unfortunately upset towards the end because of course he came into contact with eventual race winner Jevan David, but it definitely seems that the Barrichello name hails here at the Temple of Speed. We're just getting underway now, Q2, very much in full force already. Now the purple sector starting to light up. Nico Menzel going purple in the second sector, and it's now been ripped away by Philip Ellis as they now rush down through towards turn one. We're riding on board here with the East Talent Audi here with Christopher Haase at the wheel. Simon Riker doing the opening stint in Q1. They are part of a 3-part championship lead fray, of course, with Riker and Haase, and then Alessio Deleda as well. 2 different teams looking to contest. Remember as well, Oregon team looking to also take the team's championship, and they have a 10-point lead currently in that too. So this qualifying session could be all the more important for them, though Alessio Deleda not qualifying necessarily that high, or certainly not high enough to get into the top 10 in Q1. So he's going to rely on a huge run here from Jordan Pepper.
And car 65, that Timo Rumpf Motorpark Mercedes, the AM-entered car, already under investigation for crossing the white line at the pit exit. So I imagine that'll be a bit of a slap on the wrist because it was the start of the session. As Haase makes his way down the Seraglio and towards Ascari. Simon Riker, he was, what was he, 6th fastest this morning in the end for Simon Riker. So decent performance from the Austrian in that championship leading car. Remember, they are level on points with the Alessio Deleda Oregon Lamborghini. And Haase is chasing Alex Fontana as well. Now, a lot of the Pro-Am cars are suddenly going to mix it up inside the top 10 here, whereas pretty much all of them had their gentleman driver in for this morning's session. So it was all the Pro cars up at the front of the field. But as we normally see in a regular qualifying session, the Pro-Ams can very much mix it up with the overall contenders when they have the pros in. And right now, we're just going to see the absolute best of the field out here in this session. So Philip Ellis in the Villorba Corsa Mercedes, the Mercedes works driver, making his way through. It was Denis Ardo who qualified that car this morning. It's a wildcard appearance for the 2 drivers, not for the SVC team, though. But Philip Ellis heading down the back straight and towards Alboreto corner. And he does have 2 good times here. So far, Christopher Haase has set a benchmark time of 1:53.788. And let's see where Ellis puts him in relation to that. It was a personal best in the first sector, not so much in the middle. And in the end, 2.5 seconds away. So that lap really fell away from Philip Ellis in the end, was down in the 56s that time around. Back with Chris Haase, and Alex Fontana is in the black and gold Porsche ahead of him. And he and Hash took a first Pro-Am win of the season. A great battle with the Dexter Muller and Yannick Mettler Mercedes, and they got a little bit of a wildcard appearance in their documentary series for the Carbahn team. And I won't repeat Hash's exact words about it, but he certainly said he hoped they enjoyed looking at the back of his car. Yeah,
well, Hash has been getting a lot of experience after taking a year out back in 2023 through injury, and Alex Fontana was very keen for him to get as much racing experience under his belt, so they committed to the full campaign of the International GT Open. But not only that, he's trying to take on as many endurance events. He's going to take part in the Golf 12 Hour as well, now up and coming, racing at Bathurst as well, so he's really grabbing it by the horn. So we'll wait and see how Hash gets on with that. But based on his performance last time out, obviously it was a grand weekend for Car Collection, who not only went on to win overall, obviously with Gustav Bergstrom and Nico Menzel, but it proved to be a fantastic weekend as well for Hash and Alex Fontana, who round out Pro-Am winners as well through the course of that weekend. Across the line, Leonardo Polcini at a location I'm sure he'll be looking to get a good result at. Of course, former GT Open champion alongside Benjamin Hietez back in 2022. Zach Meekin pops up into 10th fastest as well. Still Timo Rumpf ahead and leading the AM contenders right now in the Motorpark Mercedes as we ride on board with the number 10 Oregon belonging to Jordan Pepper. Of course, Alessio Deleda took the reins of this one for the opening stint. Like I said, did not jump into the top 10 for that initial one, but this time it's going to be Jordan Pepper who's going to look to try and help the average out just a little bit, just to raise up the numbers, to give themselves the best starting grid position possible. Anything can happen in an endurance race, much like we saw back at Spa for the 500. I'm sure it'll happen again for the Monza 500.
Yeah, just to reiterate, the average set in the grid for this weekend, because we are on the GT Open 500 weekend, it's the second of our 500 kilometer endurance races. So the average sets the grid. and that's why we're not having our usual 70-minute race this afternoon. But yeah, Jordan Pepper here flying the flag for Alessio Deleda's title campaign. And now it's not a great first sector for Jordan Pepper so far on this lap. Leonardo Polcini, another Lamborghini Works driver, just behind him on the racetrack in the sister number 63 car, and Polcini kicking up the gravel and running a bit wide on the exit of Ascari as well, so that'll do his lap time no favours. And the number 19 car is at line astern with them on the racetrack as well, so that's Artem Petrov in the number 19, or is it Marzio Moretti who qualified? Oh, it's Marzio Moretti, excuse me, the Italian. So here comes Polcini, following Jordan Pepper to the timing line. I remember he had that moment at Ascari, and that's cost him quite a lot of time. So up at the front of the field, it's Haase on a 53.788, 10th and a half clear of Philip Ellis, the Mercedes Works driver. Jim Pla in the Santalok Audi number 26, the guest entry for this weekend in third. So Pepper slows right down out of the first corner. And Aaron Walker in the Get Speed Mercedes fourth, with Dominic Baumann in fifth. But it's really, in terms of the overall pole position, we really only need to look at the pro cars, because obviously that's going to be the average is going to be better because they haven't got a bronze driver in their lineup. And one we really need to keep an eye out on as well is Vincent Abril, the car that sits third in the championship standings, but on a very rich vein of form, 12 points back.
Yeah, and a big points haul here could make all the difference, especially when there's 30 up for grabs for a race win.
Exactly.
Of course, we double the 15 and make it 30. It can really change the face of a championship, especially on the final day of all things too. So
if this was a normal weekend, they'd need to finish second and have disaster for Haase and Riker and Deleda. But because it's the endurance weekend, it's a minimum of fifth they need rather than second.
Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. As we now watch as the 63 of Leonardo Polcini flies through the Ascari chicane. He's now being closed up upon by the McLaren, the returning Optimum Motorsport team, who are going to be looking to bring their very best once more. There's the Talent Audi being driven by Christopher Haase.
Just past Jordan Pepper on the racetrack, so top two in the championship that are level on points are lying astern on the road.
Sending an early message?
Yeah, well, Haase is now backed out of that one. That might be the closest they get on track all weekend. Hopefully not. That'd be really great to see.
That's him backing out saying my job is done. I think
Hopefully not. There's still 18 and a half minutes left to go here. Right, the Optimum McLaren, Zach Meakin, Mikey Porter sharing that car with him. Two young Brits coming out of the British GT4 Championship, top two in the standings from this year, making their GT3 debut this weekend. And Zach Meakin currently 10th fastest. We can ride on board with the teenager as he makes his way into the Rettifilio. And now a second pro McLaren in the GT Open after Greystone put their first pro entry in earlier this year, and continuing to run that car this weekend as well. Riding up through the gears into sixth, shortening the run around the Curva Grande, only a 10th and a half away from the Christopher Haase benchmark time. Launches it over those newly reprofiled curbs, and you can take a lot more on the exit as well. It's the same at the Lesmos here. Let's see how he handles it, holding third gear along this long right-hander, and then a little wiggle over the curb, but he's back on the brakes for Lesmo 2, and again a nice wide curb on the exit. A little bit of wheel spin in second gear, up through the gears through the Seraglio straight. Following Leonardo Polcini, here comes the McLaren towards Ascari. Lost a second in the middle sector though, did Zach Meakin, so still quite a bit of time to find in that number 84 car.
Yeah, Zach Meakin, you saw from the dash as well, those 4 green tyres, as you can now see inside once more, obviously indicating that they are well and truly up to temperature and in a good spot. Meakin currently taking the car down towards Kerber Alboreto. Of course, now is second off so far out of that middle sector, so has lost high degree of time, but will obviously look to look at the rain as well. The spray currently being flicked onto the windscreen. It looks like the rain is getting harder out there, Chris, as we watch them make their way down the straight.
I mean, they haven't got the wipers going, so I think they're okay. But yeah, it wasn't a great lap for Zach Meakin, who was with the Optimum team for the British GT campaign. His teammate Mikey Porter, though, was with the Forsetti team. So there's a little bit more adjustment on his end of the garage, getting used to the team. Right, this is Aaron Walker, currently 4th fastest overall, 3rd of the Pro-Am runners, and he has just done a personal best in the first sector. So a strong start to this lap for another young Brit who came out of the British GT Championship, but this time out of the GT3 category, and it's another personal best in the middle sector. Got slow-moving Motorpark Mercedes just in front of him. Hopefully he doesn't hold him up too much through Ascari. The Mercedes stays left, and Walker continues on his way. And now down towards the Alboreto curve. Another Motorpark Mercedes is just warming up its tyres there. Might have been the Thomas Eichen car. It's Walker opening up the taps on that 6.2 litre V8 and heads up towards the timing line. And Walker and he and Valentin Pierberg, very strong contenders for Pro-Am pole at the very least, and Walker goes 3rd fastest, ahead of Dean MacDonald in the Greystone GT Pro McLaren. And so that's put Aaron Walker 2nd of the Pro-Am runners there, and they are looking very good for Pro-Am pole at the very least, because Valentin Pierberg was right up there in the Q1 session this morning. Haase going slowly, having just lowered the benchmark even further last time round.
Yeah, 153.693 at the moment, and just, well, not far off 2.5 tenths as now Anthony Bartone goes purple in the first sector. So we're hoping that he can go a little bit higher this time around as well. Obviously, Fabian Schiller taking the opening stint and sending the car fastest with a 1:44.652, and you can just see how the time has already depreciated to a certain extent, but bear in mind it has got a little bit more slippery. He's lost a little bit of time, well, quite a bit of time in that middle sector, but he's still green as it stands, so will still improve on his last time that he had enlisted before. Dean MacDonald also showing a personal best, only 26 thousandths out of the first sector from the top time set by Haase in that first sector, but again lost a little bit more, but still green as well in that second sector. They're currently 4th in the classification so far. We watch Bartone as he heads around Curva Alboreto, rear light flashing, obviously under wet weather rain conditions. See, that has been confirmed by race control. Let's see where Bartone goes as Vincent Abril goes 6th fastest. Here comes Bartone this time, 21st place, 2 seconds off the top.
So, of course, that's the car that was fastest in Q1 this morning at the hands of Fabi Schiller. I should also mention as well, because we incorrectly said that Julian Hansers was racing alongside Lucas Dunner in the number 96. It's Jakub Giermaziek who is actually driving that car, and not Hansers, as it said on our entry lists. But yeah, he's been in that car, the gold-rated Polish driver, the former Super Cup racer. Right, back with what's happening out on track. Karel Bash on a really strong lap here in the Olymp Audi. This could put him in at the top. Well, no, it goes 5th fastest in the end. Lost quite a bit of time in that final sector, did the Polish driver, but still 5th fastest, and that was Christopher Haase going way, way wide out of Ascari, and I wonder if he was trying to round up a slightly slow-moving Yannick Mettler in the car barn by SPS Mercedes when he did so, because he lost a little bit of time there, did Haase, and I fear that this lap now is not going to be what the Audi Works driver was hoping it would be. We'll see when he gets up to the timing line. Still has a 1/4 of a second over Philip Ellis, but yes, 1.6 seconds lost in that final sector in the end for Haase, so he has to go for another lap. Here is Philip Ellis, who's currently at 2nd fastest, and he has just gone fastest in the middle sector with a personal best in the first sector to boot as well. So the Scuderia Villorba Corsa, still a Pro-Am entered car, but now with the might of Mercedes Works driver Philip Ellis at the wheel of that number 69 car, and he heads up towards the timing line. And he goes fastest. He usurps Christopher Haase at the head of the field, and it is now a 53.490. But Rubens Barrichello is flying out there as well. He's just done 2 personal bests in that Il Baron Rampante Lamborghini. Barrichello making a wildcard appearance in the International GT Open this weekend, his debut in the series alongside Giuseppe Cipriani, his former team boss in Formula 3000 in the early 90s. Now here is Barrichello coming up towards the timing line. Third fastest for Barrichello. Absolutely sensational.
He was purple in the first sector as well for a brief stint, so well done him. 35.215 to open up the account coming out of sector 1. So that set the tone for the lap, and he was able also to register a really fast, blistering sector 2 and 3. Pepper now jumps up to 7th fastest, just a second off Ellis's time at the very top, and Philip Ellis has gone green again in that first sector with a 35.393, so could yet be more to come for the Mercedes. Vincent Abril, purple in the first sector as well, registers a first sector time that is over 1.5 tenths better off than our current classification leader, Philip Ellis, at this stage. But Ellis now responding straight away. He's purple in the second sector and has gone 85 thousandths faster, and it looks like trouble for the 51 Ferrari.
Yeah, lost 3/4 of a second in the middle sector as Ellis is continuing to lower the benchmark in that middle sector. So this isn't going to be the lap for Abril. I'm really surprised about Jordan Pepper, though, and he's just had 2 lap times deleted for track limits at turn 5 as well. So he's fallen right back down the order to 22nd place. This is a bit of a disaster for a car that's contending for the championship, and Ellis lowers the benchmark even further. No, it didn't. Yeah, 53.3, did he do? Yeah, 3.24. Sorry, it took a while to come up on the timing order there because he went, he put an extra 10th or 2 over Christopher Haase. That's why it confused me. The average for them, it puts him in the 49s. That is really incredible place. That will put a Pro-Am car right up towards the front of the field as it stands.
Yeah, a lot of work being carried out down in the Ferrari garages as well as they look to swap out some of the tyres. Dominic Baumann hops up into 4th fastest, registering a time that's just over 9.5 tenths off Philip Ellis's strong time of 1:53.324. Just under 4 tenths away, nearly 3.5 tenths is Christopher Haase, who's currently sat in the pits. And of course, Rubens Barrichello, who is still very much in the fray for a potential major run here in Q2, could yet lift the Pro-Am Challengers in with a huge chance of taking an endurance race victory. Here he is once more as he flies around Curva Grande. He's got Dominic Baumann sat in front of him right now. Baumann, who went 4th fastest, just sits behind Barrichello in the classification as it stands, but the Brazilian looking so adept already despite limited experience in GT3 racing, and has come back again, nearly 25 thousandths off the top time set by Philip Ellis so far. So this isn't a bad lap time at all from Barrichello so far. Could yet even add his name to the very top of things with 8.5 minutes or so to go as he rushes through out of Lesmo 2. Dominic Baumann, I think, looking to perhaps give away the position as he tries to furiously warm up the tyres, allows the Brazilian to carry on through in towards the Ascari chicane. There is Giuseppe Cipriani watching on as one of his former drivers from the era of the F3000 days in the early 90s goes to work here behind the wheel of this Lamborghini Huracan GT3 as they now fly down the back straight. Lost a little bit of time in that second sector, still trying to chase for an improvement, but remember, 5.5 or so tenths away off the top. He could yet dig deep and deliver a decent third sector. He is on a personal best in the second sector as Barrichello, so it's not all over yet. He might yet challenge Christopher Haase should this time go right as he now flies down towards the straight. Can he gain some extra time? No, coming into the pits. Denied me once again, but Barrichello comes into the pits here.
Yeah, so at the moment, it would be the championship leading East Talent Audi starting on pole position. Their average at the moment of 49.547. And they're one of only a few cars that actually have an average that's below 1:50. So that makes things slightly easier for us. But astonishingly, the Scuderia Valorbe Corsa would be starting inside the top 5, I believe, actually, such as the pace of Philip Ellis. Yeah, it would be ahead of the Walker Pierberg car as well. Here's Abril. He's got a little bit of traffic just in front of him of Yannick Metler, who sticks to driver's right. And Abril here currently 11th fastest. And heading up towards the timing line. Alex Fontana's on a good lap here. He's done 2 personal bests heading towards the Alboreto corner. Abril didn't improve on that previous lap. It was an outlap for the Monegasque Frenchman. So here comes Fontana in the Car Collection Pro-Am Porsche, the number 12 machine that was victorious last time out in Barcelona. Goes second fastest, does the Swiss racer. And that again helps to lower their average time and give them a slightly better starting position for the race as well. To McLaren's line astern here, it is the works driver Dean MacDonald in the Greystone GT number 33 McLaren that is currently 7th fastest. Zach Meakin in 9th in the number 84 car, the British GT4 champion. Both making their way towards Ascari. Now less than 6 minutes left on the clock, and still it looks like it is advantage East Talent in terms of the overall classification. Let's see, where's Jordan Pepper? Jordan Pepper is still in 25th place. This is turning into a slightly disastrous qualifying for Lamborghini, and they are running out of time. Less than 6 minutes left on the clock for the Lamborghini Works driver to try and improve that time.
Yeah, at this stage, Philip Ellis now moving to the top with Alex Fontana. Christopher Haase with his lap, obviously set earlier on average, as I'm working it out, makes them the fastest pairing with an average lap time of a 1:49.362. So we'll see if this can be carried out, because of course Haase registered that 1:53.324 to put them right to the centre of the dance. So it's now a 53.693. I think that time might have been deleted, I think, since then. So obviously that average will jump out just ever so slightly.
Yeah, it's a 53.693 for Haase at the moment.
Yeah, so it has somewhat extended, but still, they will lead in law of averages, regardless.
Yes, it's still very much to their advantage at the moment. It's only a few tenths of a second that they're advancing. In fact, I think it's the number 20 SPS Mercedes that will be their closest challenger. So that Carol Bash goes 5th fastest, and Philip Ellis there building up to another lap. Speaking of lap times being deleted, Vincent Abril's had one, as has Diego Menchaca. That's for turn 2 and turn 5, so I think that's cutting the chicanes out there. This is the number 7 Tiemann van der Helm, another Car Collection Porsche, who just went skating off the road there. Christopher Haase did. So this will be a lap time deleted for him, but it wasn't a particularly impressive first sector for Haase anyway. I think just trying to round up some of the traffic, in fact, and maybe get himself track position. 3.5 minutes left on the clock just to try and cement this moment. So here it is. Oh, so he got it all crossed up, braking for the De La Roggia chicane, and again not quite taking the prescribed route around the outside of the bollard, but nonetheless still going in the right direction. And Haase building up towards a push lap here, and so how much traffic has he got in front of us? McDonald goes 7th fastest for Greystone GT. Haase's got plenty of clear road in front of him. There are a few cars making their way around the Alboreto curve now, but if they stay at pace, he shouldn't catch them on this next flying lap. Fontana is on a decent lap, but probably not one that's going to better his current 1:53.6 as Haase starts the clock. 2.5 minutes left on the timer for this Q2 session. But right now it is looking very good for the championship leading squad. Here comes Fontana to the timing line. Didn't improve on second fastest there. And so he's got 2 more laps he'll have time for to try and better that, and get squirming under braking. These drivers are really struggling out there with the conditions. And there is a real question mark over what the conditions for tomorrow are going to be like. Some say it's going to be dry, some say it's going to be an absolute washout. So we'll have to wait and see, because in 24 hours' time we will be racing for 500 kilometres.
Maziak up to 8th as well. It's just
big improvement for them.
Proctor as well up to 2nd in accordance to our timing screen on the... I'm not sure whether that's correct or not. Lewis Proctor,
Lewis
Proctor,
Proctor,
it has.
yeah.
Purple in the 2nd sector as well. Rubens Barrichello, though, finding 0.2 of a second, and he's still 78 thousandths up coming out of sector 2. So Barrichello is on a charge right now. Currently 5th in terms of the classification on the screen. Haase finding a personal best as well in the 1st sector, so that we could see an ultimate crescendo here at the final time of asking. As we now watch Fontana bursting down the Sorello straight, we need to wait and see what Barrichello is going to bring to the foray, though. There he is now, coming through Curva Alboreto for Il Barone Rampante. Surely not in a maiden weekend here in the GT Open. Surely he can't unseat Ellis and go to the top and take Q2 P1.
Yes!
He goes to the top. Rubens Barrichello back on top here at the Temple of Speed with a 152.984. Sensational from the Brazilian.
When was the last time anyone said Rubens Barrichello fastest at Monza? Absolutely sensational stuff for him. Haase goes over the line, 4th fastest for the German, half a second or so away from Barrichello's top time here. That car absolutely flying at the moment, and Barrichello fastest in this session. You couldn't make it up, could you? And that is going to put that car well inside the top 10. That is for absolute certainty. It'll be Cipriani starting the car tomorrow, but look at this, Rubens Barrichello, 11-time Grand Prix winner, and you just see a glimpse of him in the helmet there inside the car. It's a little bit dark out there, but yeah, Giuseppe Cipriani very happy with that, because that's the highest.
Count, he says.
Yeah, well, that's the highest that car will have been in terms of an overall classification all season, because Cipriani's been running so low, and so it's an AM-entered car. And it's done very well in the AM Championship. Giuseppe won the AM Championship this year, but in terms of overall classification, we've never quite seen it this high up.
I would not write off an overall victory either, I have to be honest, because when you put a pairing like this, when you put them together, Cipriani, when we consider the race tomorrow, which is going to be over the course of 2 hours or something so minutes, anything can happen at Monza. And obviously when you factor in someone as experienced here at this track as Barrichello, Cipriani, of course, former championship winner, current AM Championship winner as well this season in the AM side of things. Who knows? Magic stories could be told here at the Italian Grand Prix circuit. We'll wait and see. But Philip Ellis, 2nd fastest as it stands, just under 3.5 tenths of a second. And of course, Lewis Proctor currently sat in 3rd. Haase in 4th place. Checkered flag is out. Philip Ellis still improving. Personal best in the 1st sector as it stands. So looking to perhaps bring a last-ditch fight to challenge Rubens. But there is a lot of traffic out there, but nothing that's going to perturb Philip Ellis, who is only 65 thousandths of Barrichello's time coming out of sector 2. So who knows? A final dance coming out of Ascari through towards Curva Alboreto. Let's see what this Merc can do. There you can see, of course, the car that was driven by Valentin Pierberg in the opening stint as well from this morning. Of course, Aaron Walker at the helm of that, currently sat P10. They haven't had a bad day at the office either, it has to be said. But Philip Ellis now coming around the final corner. Could this be a time that takes Giuseppe Cipriani and Rubens Barrichello off the top here in Q2? Let's wait and see as they head now up towards the line. Checkered flag being waved, so you can see on the right-hand side. No! 7 thousandths between them. Up at the very top, it's Barrichello fastest here in Q2.
And George, that late effort from Jakub Maziak has put the number 96 car on pole position with Lucas Dunner. They've pipped the East Talent Audi by about 0.08 of a second in the averages.
Astonishing. Absolutely phenomenal job by Jakub Gmiezak. So tight towards the bitter end, as it always is. But the story here for sure, we've got to talk about it. Rubens Barrichello, welcome back to Monza. Fastest here in Q2. There's the 96 Motor Park that sits on average pole with Gmiezak.
George, that's the 12th different pole sitter.
There we go. So there we have it. Yet another one for the stats, everybody. Jakub Gmiezak. And also, this is great for Lucas Dunner as well, looking ahead to the race tomorrow. Puts them right in the centre fold for a potential big race win. Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the championship as well. Across all bounds, it's getting very tight. If it wasn't tight enough already in the championship, it's tight as well as far as this race is concerned. And I want to say a phenomenal job by Lewis Proctor as well to pull a grand result like that for Greystone GT. That is his best qualifying of the season.
Absolutely sensational there. Yeah, I don't think that car's been that high up in the overall order since Hockenheim. So what an effort, though, from this Motorpark team. And, yeah, Lucas Dunner did a cracking job at Jakub Gamaziak just jumping into this car for this weekend and helping them secure, on average, the way we're setting the grid for this weekend, the pole position for the 500-kilometre race. So there's Rubens Barrichello, very happy with the job that he's done, and rightly so. Fastest in Q2. And yeah, it's been a while since anyone said it, but Barrichello on top in Monza.
I still think that sends a clear message. We'll have to wait and see, but obviously credit has to go to the Motorpark pairing of Lucas Dunner and Jakub Gamirzak. There's Rubens Barrichello running back through the pits. What a momentous moment.
What a shot.
As he now hugs the team of Motorpark, obviously. Oh, it's Fernando Barrichello, his son. Obviously, what a moment for the family. It has to be said. And Fernando, obviously, coming off the back, very close to victory in Euro Formula earlier on today. Unfortunately, just missing out after a last gasp moment. But fantastic for Rubens.
That's beautiful.
And a great moment for the Barrichello family. And dreams do come true in the International GT Open.
Well, they certainly do. It's a real family affair this weekend.
Fantastic for Alberoni Rampante as well.
Brilliant. Absolutely sensational. Yeah, great moment for the family, for the team as well. That, of course, played a big part in Ruben's young career as a young driver. And now they're going back into the garage. But let's hear it from our pole sitters.
We are pole position. They are pole position. You seem surprised. Good effort from Lucas Dunner and Kuba Yermaziak.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. How was it? I start with you because you just finished the session.
So first of all, big congrats to Lucas because he did all the job. I have to say it was difficult because I didn't test the car before the weekend. So, you know, I had to learn the car here and I haven't been here since 15 years. So I'm happy with the performance. The car drives very well. So, you know, we are getting there. Every session is better and better. So really happy with the result, but the credit goes to this guy.
Yeah, well done for a first time in the International GT Open. And Lucas, of course, great satisfaction at last after many very good performances. P1 this time.
Could have been, but at the end I'm still happy. He said I did the job. At the end we are a team.
Of course.
And yeah, we did it together. Really happy to be now on pole after the whole season, which was quite struggling a lot. But yeah, now we concentrate on tomorrow and then we see where we will finish the race.
There is a long race tomorrow.
Yes, it's very long. We have seen in Spa already. Everything can happen, not only in the pit stops, also on the track. So we will try to bring it home, and then we'll see where it will end.
And ready to take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done, guys.
Well, what a performance there by both the Motorpark drivers. Obviously, it's a great opportunity for them to take a huge, huge victory here at Monza. But nonetheless, we wait until tomorrow to find out the fate of this race and also the fate of the championship. Be sure to tune in live tomorrow afternoon for the race.